have a question for you. How many times have you been asked to share your ideas in front of your classmates? Or to present your proposal to your manager? Or simply to speak to strangers in the open public? I'm sure that each and every one of us has as many chances of public speaking before. But one thing is definitely to be common. There must have been butterflies in the stomach, be it big or small. That's why today my question is, can you catch your butterflies? In the following few minutes, I'll be telling you my personal suggestions as to how one can manage stage fright. Let's first look at the scenario in front of you and try to imagine this. In another 5 minutes, you'll be standing here in this vast hall, ready to give a presentation to not empty chairs, but to a full house of audience. Looks intimidating, doesn't it? Imagine thousands of eyes staring at you, and everyone are waiting to hear what you're going to say. That must surely be something. So, if you feel that, your heart is racing, your mouth is dry, but your hands are wet. You're trembling inside, and maybe even outside. Your mind is blank. Well, then welcome to the big family of stage fright. Don't worry, you're not alone. Even the most prominent speakers were prone to stage fright once before. And personally speaking, I used to be someone who was so afraid to speak in front of public, and simply to strangers that I don't know. Oh. And there's nothing to be ashamed of, because you're just one among many in the world. And the good news is, that's definitely something curable. And the question is, how to deal with it? Well, you can look through a lot of online articles and blogs and different opinions that people put up on how to deal with stage fright. And I've looked through them, and personally I've summarized them to 3 P's, namely prepare, purpose, and practice. Now let me go through them each one by one. Firstly, prepare. The key idea is to always know your ace. What's that? Here it is: audience, content, and environment. Well, of course you have to know your audience so that you'll know what tone to speak with when you're talking to the audience, and what words you should use and should not use. Of course, knowing your content will definitely boost your self-confidence and to eliminate the fear that you'll say something wrong when you're presenting. Knowing your environment gives you the sense of familiarity that will also reduce the sense of nervousness. And of course, in a more technical sense, you'll be able to familiarize yourself with the equipment and the settings there so that you know what volume to project your voice to, and you know where each bit of technical equipment belongs to. Another point is to adjust your mindset. What do I mean by that? Well, think of it this way. When the audience is sitting there waiting for a speech, they're looking for something good to hear, not something bad. They want you to deliver a good presentation. They want nothing bad from you. So there's nothing to be afraid of. They won't eat you up. They won't look for a chance to put you down. Thirdly, of course, relax, or at least try to. There are a lot of different ways for different people to relax, and some of them are pretty universal. For example, try taking deep breaths. Slowly, deep breaths that will soothe your nervous system. At the same time, try to sit down and relax the tension in your muscles. Personally, I found that drinking water helps calm me down a lot. But of course, that's something very personal, and it's really up to you to find your own method of relaxing. The next P is purpose. Why are you there? You may be there to make a point, or sometimes you're there to tell a story. But in essence, you want the audience to buy your story, the message that you're giving them through your presentation. Therefore, purpose here means to focus on your message. And the message that what you deliver to your audience is the reason why you're there on stage presenting in the first place. Focusing on your message will take away your attention and focus it on the thing you want to say instead of focus on being nervous. This can also help you reduce nervousness and to eliminate stage fright. The third P is practice. Practice makes perfect. You can do it over and over again, for example, with your team. And of course, practicing with your team will lead to smoother transitions to avoid sudden flaws that might put you off ground when you're actually presenting. You can do it at the place where you'll be speaking. Again, just as I said before, knowing the environment helps a lot in eliminating fears and familiarizing yourself with technical bits. Well, but for example, in a competition where you cannot get access to the place to be speaking at first, you can try that in a large empty room. This is to get yourself familiar with the vastness, and of course, to try to adjust to the volume of your voice. This is especially useful for people who have a tendency to speak softly. And fourthly, you can practice in front of the mirror. That you must have heard many times before, but why is it useful? Well, practicing in front of the mirror can get you used to eye contact and people looking at you when you're speaking. Also, it can eliminate the flaw. You can identify yourself when you're speaking and to know what you look like in front of your audience. Knowing how you will look like and knowing that you won't feel bad will definitely boost your self-confidence when you're making a presentation. So in conclusion, the 3 P's to catch your butterflies during presentations are: prepare to get yourself ready. Purpose, remember what you want to achieve through the presentation. And practice till it becomes a piece of cake. I'm sure that with these 3 P's, you'll be able to catch your butterflies and calmly face your audience for future presentations. Thank you.